Good afternoon. This is going to be another one of my builds. Watched a couple channels like D-Lab and X-Ray Tony B that built these audio dummy loads. Now, Tony B's was way off the scale of what I would ever attempt to repair here. I mean, I don't need 1,000 watts, but I collected a bunch of the stuff that they used and designed my own and built it. And I think it turned out pretty good. This panel that I have here is actually the front end of a stove drawer. I replaced the stove, and the handle used to be here. You know, you'd pull it out like that. And I cut that out, and I put in two of these Velleman. Gosh, they do all sorts of stuff. They'll do decibels, power meter ratings, frequency, kind of like a spectrum analyzer. So I built this so that, you know, now that we have Dolby, we could have 6 channels, center and subwoofer on the outs. Each one has an adjustable load, 4, 8, and then the speaker in the back. Up here I have left channel where I can set separate frequencies and amplitudes for the front panel outputs, feeding the amp. 6 dB meters in the front. You got circuit boards in there for those, and then in the back, well, actually these are switch each one of these, so you can have right, sub, or over here center, or left, and center. These control the Vellemans on left and right. In the back, I had put these circuit overload boards. So we got 6 channels, 3 boards, 2 channels each. Now basically these are designed to protect the circuit from, or your speakers I should say, with if it has any DC voltage on the line, it'll lock it out. Now I tested these with a DC voltage, and they only work, say, around 1 volt and up, which is not as good as I had wanted, but it's reasonable. 0.6 on a transistor input, it'd probably be just slightly less, but maybe not that much of a difference. Okay, so inside here I have my row of 4 ohm resistors at 100 watts. And then I have a row of 8 ohm resistors at 100 watts. This whole whiteboard in the middle is the circuitry. It's all, this is passive for the VU meters. Each one has its own separate input, and then there's a calibration pod on each of them. And then in each corner I have a, gosh, I don't remember what chip this is, MX 260. And then a 0 to 50 frequency counter underneath, so you can set the frequency output with this, and then I feed the sine wave down to the front panel. Square wave goes into the counter, so you can have a digital frequency readout, I guess. And I got one on the right side, and then the 2 Vellemans. These are pretty slick little kits, do a lot of stuff. My main complaint is after you build this, they want you to, I don't know if you can see this, you got to solder the pegs onto the back of the lens, and that's the weak spot on these things. Everything else worked perfect, but the soldering on the pads down there kept falling off. I've had to resolder one of these about 3 times. Anyway, you got your power connections, you got your input connections. All of this is powered off of 1 wall wart at 12 volts. And I didn't have to put any voltage drops. It's all regulated on the PC boards here and here. One note, these speaker protect relays are powered, so you do need to run a 12 volts in there or they just shut the signal off. So when the front switch is on 8 ohms, it puts all the inputs straight through to the back and whatever speaker load you have on them. Or no, wait. Okay, so if you're on, let's see, if you're on the left, you have the 4 ohms. Straight up is the 8 ohms, and then to the right is the speaker outputs. And then I added BNC connectors so I can hook each one of these up to a scope and watch it as it works. Which means I got to dig up a whole bunch of oscilloscopes if I'm going to watch all 6 channels at once. But, you know, I figured I'd make it as good as I could while I could. So, because there's 6 channels, I'm going to turn the lights out. You got to see this. Now I have different LEDs in the bottoms of the meters. So each channel, let me get the other light here off. Each channel has its own color. We have orange, yellow, white, red, green, and blue. And I'm quite happy with this, how it turned out. Now you might think this is a little bit wide, but I do a lot of rack mount and it's going to go in that hole right up there. I believe from top to bottom is about a foot, at least 10 inches. So in order to make this complete, I'm going to need at least 3 2-channel oscilloscopes and a set of 6 speakers to accurately test it live, I guess you would say. Anyway, my intent with this channel is to inspire people. You know, somebody once said ideas are dangerous things, and I want to spread some cool ideas. So here's one of them, and I'm going to do some more. You know, like stuff that the old-time radio guys taught me, and I'm going to eventually make a video of my ICO collection, which is still growing, but I'm running out of things to get. And eventually I plan on doing a video on repair of each one of these things. Because some of them are quite bizarre. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.